Officials say a delegation will debate or will depart tonight for Egypt ahead of renewed negotiations aimed at ending nearly 2 years of war in Gaza. The talks set to begin Monday are seen as a crucial step in efforts to secure a lasting truce after months of stalled mediation. Diplomatic sources say discussions will focus on humanitarian relief, security guarantees and long-term stability as global pressure mounts on both sides to halt the violence. For more on this, I'm joined by Senior International Correspondent and anchor Afua Hagan. Afua, it's good to have you join us. Let's just get started, shall we? Now, tell us, what's the latest on the peace talks between Israel and Hamas?
Negotiators from both Israel and Hamas are arriving in Egypt today in Sharm el-Sheikh, which could be a turning point in this war between Israel and Hamas, which is taking place in Gaza. Like I said, mediators are arriving today, and President Donald Trump is really applying pressure, talking on his social media site. He emphasized that both sides must move fast to get this deal done. We had that 20-point plan that came out last week, something that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President Trump negotiated during a meeting. And over the weekend, we had Hamas saying that they would release the remaining hostages. That was a real important point of that plan. If they did that, then that would pave the way for more negotiations and more peace talks and potentially a ceasefire. Because Hamas said they release the hostages, Donald Trump emphasized that the bombing on Gaza must stop. It hasn't stopped, but it's certainly reduced over the past 48 hours. But like I said, it's still ongoing. We had 100 people killed in bombings that have taken place in Gaza over the past 48 hours. But there seems to be a real air of cautious optimism about these talks that are taking place in Sharm el-Sheikh over the course of this week.
And how close are we to a ceasefire in the region?
I think we're perhaps closer than we've ever been, and I do say that with an element of caution. I think there seems to be some real momentum behind those peace talks, particularly because we have had Hamas saying that they would release those hostages. It's also pertinent to remember that tomorrow is October 7th, and it will be the third anniversary of those attacks that prompted this war, this particular phase of the war in Gaza at the moment. You've got the US envoy Steve Witkoff arriving at the talks later on this week. He'll be joined by Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. Also, and then you'll have top mediators from Israel flying in to the talks later on this week as well. So the optimism says that it could be days and not weeks in which perhaps we have a ceasefire deal. But perhaps we have been here before, and perhaps this optimism maybe is too much. But there is a cautious optimism that this time, that this phase, that these particular talks could take us to a ceasefire deal in days and not weeks.
Cautious optimism indeed. Afua, many thanks. We appreciate you for coming on. Afua Hagan, our Senior International Correspondent anchor, giving us a bit of insight as negotiations for ceasefire is underway.